But first,
an ad.
Sponsors of today's channel are Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered to look after the most important jewels in your house, your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package is an absolute game changer, and it's the ultimate in men's hygiene. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and I've got an exclusive offer for you. 20% off, free worldwide shipping if you use the code POMMY at manscaped.com at the checkout. And if my maths is correct, that's around 14 million balls that they service. Time to throw out your razor. Performance Package 4.0 is, like I say, a game changer. You want to take your on-ball game to the next level, Manscaped will help you out. And I've got to say, the boxers that with their anti-chafing technology are the comfiest things I have put my pert little behind on. Click the link, get 20% off and free shipping with code POMMY, that's POMMY, at manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping anywhere in the world. Unlock your confidence and use the right tools from the job and take your on-ball game to the next level.
Back to you in the studio.
Way, how are we doing? And we start with pick 22 in the draft. Max Grzuski from Oakley Chargers, pick 22. Hope we're all doing as you round in. So we've got Michael's in chat, Big Lewis, Big Michael, Big Faz. Hey, I'm very well. And GWS took this guy, Tall Utility. We talked about this guy at length on the Blue Abroad show. Incredibly strong, incredibly high work rates. Loves his marks. Not so bad, mainly a defender, but has sneaked forward. Very raw with his forward for Metro particularly. But this kid here has got something about him. And I like this, with Phil Davies coming to the twilight of his career and stuff. I thought this was an exceptional pickup by the GWS. And I really rate it, to be honest. He's a really good kid. Do you know what I mean? About his money as well. Most people had him early 20s. So I really, really like this one. So good picking by them. The Eagles took, and obviously, do you know what I mean? This is like when we were doing their predictions, we did mention Rooks could be, one of them little players they take. And they took probably the best Rook in the draft. That's unarguable, really. Harry Barnett. And it gives them a little bit of just protection for the future as I try and bring up his data so I can talk a bit more about him. But obviously, the West Adelaide boy, he was a real highly touted. There was a lot of clubs interested in this guy. His ruck work is already pretty strong. His ability to work the ground as well. He's got a really good engine, and he really gets involved in transition really well. Looks the size, do you know what I mean? When you look at him, 202 and 97 kegs, he's already a man. And working with Nick Nat, there's a lot of Nick Nat about this guy in the terms of how he's versatile. He's pretty good on the deck. He's got all them like little green ticks. So I really like this pick at 23. I really do. I know a lot of people were thinking, what were they going to do? There was a lot of conjecture about the Eagles. I thought the Eagles actually nailed this pick. And it's a good one. I don't think there's a go-home factor as well. He's a very mature young man. The reports are he's very mature. So I really like this one. And he was incredibly dominant at the start of the year. Doggies love a player like this, don't they? This is like a doggies pick, if you think about it. And these guys do it again. They get a very crafty forward who is no nonsense. He likes the goals. He really does work hard. And I'm a big fan of Charlie Clark. Do you know what I mean? He's quick. He loves his tackles. Do you know what I mean? He loves a goal or two. He loves bringing his teammates in. He really suits that doggies mantra of what they do. A lot of people talked about him being Cody Waitman. I can see it. I get a lot of Keziah Pickett with this guy, if I'm honest. And I think he's really, when you look at what doggies do, they go very safe in the draft. They're not mugs. And I love this pick. He's a real good Sandy Dragons boy. And what's important is when you try and transition these guys to big clubs, you've got to think about what they've come from the juniors. And Sandy Dragons have got a very similar midfield makeup and how they operate to the doggies. So it's literally just like walking in. Some great people in the chat as well. Big Quenton, one of my good mates. Azza, my legend friend. Michael, big Danish friend. How you doing, my friend? And Rafi, mate, how you doing? So Charlie Clark, I like that. And then we get onto this one. Lewis Hayes, probably the slider of the draft. Tell you what, it was kind of a no-brainer, really, for Essendon. And Essendon have, never want to say they've done well, but Essendon have. They've gone safe. They've gone with what they know. And this guy here is incredibly good key defender. Judd Bustling has got a lot of the raps this year. But 199 and 82 kegs. This guy here is a very, very elite field kick. Really strong in transition. Really, really intelligent as well with his footy. Definitely needs to put the meat on, but they have got that protection down the back. And I think this is a very, very similar type thing. This guy models his game on Darcy Moore. So I think that's a really thing. Do you know what I mean? I really think that that's a really important thing. 6 marks, do you know what I mean? And when he goes at 91% disposal efficiency, good day, Tony, good friend of mine. How you doing? That is a really important thing. So really good thing with Essendon. I love that, Mike. Evening, Gav. How are we doing? So real good pick for them. Then one of my good members of this channel, Brayden George. This is one of the, this guy here, mark my words, is a top 5 talent. Top 5 talent. And without a shadow of a doubt, North Melbourne have nailed this draft. Nailed this draft. But Brayden George, he's going to be out this year with a recovery from ACL. But don't let that put you off. This guy at the start of the year and with his back end form last year literally stood out. He would have been a top 5 talent. Top 5 talent. He's incredibly quick. He's incredibly elusive. Gives me massive Charlie Cameron vibes. And he's 186, so he's that awkward size. He loves playing on talls as well. If you watch the interview with me, he absolutely froths taking on the taller defenders as well because he likes to get over on top of them. He's got a huge vertical leap. 90 kegs, mass winner. And Brayden George, I agree, Faz, mass winners they are. This kid here is something special. 2.3 goals a game this year, pure goal kicker. And I love what North have done. Full credit to North. It's something that hasn't been said in the AFL probably since the 90s, that they've done something well. Clarko's there. They've got this kid. Happy times. Happy times. And then Sydney do what Sydney do, don't they? Is there anything more Sydney than taking probably the first guy that's gone a full round early? I had him going 43 around this state. And you know what? Tell you what, little small defender, 181. Do you know what I mean? Can sneak up the win. Really attacking type player as well. Loves that rebound, churning them out. And it's such a Sydney thing because you'll take this at 27, you'll be like, maybe 15 picks too early. And then you'll be like, you know what? They pissed off GWS. Do you know what I mean? They made people work and they'll probably turn this kid into a superstar. Loves them little, he's a real link man down the back. And Sydney really like that in their transition. Them little 1-2s and stuff. So Cooper Vickery, maybe a bit early. But the thing is with Sydney, they're like Hawthorn. They don't piss about in this game. They identify the talent. So even though it's early, I'm not going to critique it. I'm not going to critique it because you know what? They do a job. They always get it right. Jakob Ryan then, Collingwood. I had the privilege of being on Mr. Swoop Luke's channel. We talked at length about this kid. Second best mullet in the draft. Shaggy hair, all of it. Absolute elite kick. Absolute elite kick. Incredible interceptor. His ability to change games is insane from the down back. And when you look at what Fly's building with a little bit of continuity, it looks like Quinn is going to go up to more of the midfield. Jakob Ryan is one hell of a player, and he's that awkward size, 188. Do you know what I mean? Where you're looking at that interception. This kid can play footy. This kid can play footy. National champs was going at 70% kicking efficiency. So do you know what I mean? He really likes to take the game on. He loves that run and line breaking speed. He can turn something into nothing. Absolute stellar pickup from Collingwood. Really good pickup, and I like that. Cody Bajil from is at the Eagles, and this guy here, we've talked a bit about him. He's a very underrated player, and this guy is really the type of player you would expect to see knocking around at these guys. This guy's one of the quickest in the draft, the 3rd quickest player in the draft. Loves it playing on that high half forward, plays on the wing, 183, 80 kegs. Real high, good user of the football as well, and incredibly good on the deck. Definitely will suits their game style because they're all about efficiency, churning, keeping possession. He's really good in tight as well. Stoppage clearances as well at the front. Stoppages. This guy is deadly. Keep an eye out for him. And he's got something about him. Do you know what I mean? When you look at him play, especially for Vic Country, he's just a little bit of a terror. He's that really annoying, naggy player. And people talk about he doesn't find enough ball. You've got to remember he's been playing juniors. Do you know what I mean? And there's such a short catchment of top juniors at the top level that some of them find it hard to stand out. With the great coaching that the Eagles possess and the great mature heads he's going to be learning off, I like it. I get a lot of Dom Sheed about this guy. A lot of Dom Sheed. So look out for him. A very, very good pick out. And then it happened, didn't it? It happened. Carlton did that deal with Collingwood. Thank you very much, Collingwood. I don't often say that on this show. And one of my favourites of the draft popped out, and I got a bit excited about this. Do you know what I mean? Lachlan Cowan. Mate, tell you what, the skipper of WA, he's got a sexy mullet, big booming kick, literally loves the intercept, 187, 81 kegs, 70% disposal efficiency. His ability in transition is incredible. I can see this guy becoming maybe one of the medium tall wingers as well in the future. Very good engine. This guy here, there's something about him. He's the Moorish Medal winner. And when you look at him, he is something quite special. He really stands out. And I implore everyone to go back and watch Tassie play because there's a Tassie tax. They go down 10. In my opinion, this guy is easily the 15th best player in the AFL draft. Do you know what I mean? In the AFL draft. And it's a very, very good draft window for Carlton. Very good draft window. And there's teams that I look at. Sorry, captain of Tassie. Sorry. Yeah, it's captain of Tassie. What did I say? Captain of the AFL. Well, you could be. But no, mate, honestly, this guy's got a long boom in the kick as well. When it stays fit, real hungry competitor as well. Really good on them guys who are tall as well. So maybe an option. I see him playing in that maybe that, you know, that Voss likes that third tall to play in the back pocket. Definitely one to look out for. James Van Ness at St Kilda. St Kilda have had an incredible trade period this year. Incredible. And James Van Ness is someone who's got something about him. I did an interview on this channel with him. He is a really, really good country boy. And he is very strong aerially. He's very good one-on-one. He's not scared of the contact. 99 kegs at 197. If you saw him on this, sorry, captain of WA, everywhere's foreign to me, remember my accent. But yeah, this guy here, he's a very old school. It's a throwback to like the 80s of what a defender is. No nonsense. You ain't going to see any excitement from him. You're just going to see hard one-on-one locking down. And I really like this. And I think it really suits Ross the Boss's game plan. He likes this real honest footballer and someone you need to look at and look out for. 32, Binsey. Binsey joined an elite runner. Jackson Binns is one of the best runners in this draft. He is a no-nonsense footballer and a footballer that I had very high in my ratings. I thought he was going to be the top two. One thing that's not talked about is he was the third best engine in the draft. And he's also one of the most agile players. He came second in the agility test. And his ability to beat people is incredible. Now, this guy is a bit like Jackson Ryan at Collingwood. His year has been incredibly solid, and incredibly consistent. Do you know what I mean? And that is super, super exciting for a Carlton fan because he has dominated from start to finish, particularly his last half of the year was insane, his ability to get it. And a lot of people are talking about his kicking game. Now, I'm not going to back him up like I did Ollie Hollands, who went at high 70s. This guy goes at 55%, right? Okay, it's a bit of an issue. I'll accept that. I'm not even going to lie. But meters gained insane. He's a get-forward footballer. And you look in the modern-day AFL, he's a goal-kicking forward. A goal-kicking forward. Right? And I think that is incredibly thing. Down under universe, great point as well. It matches up as well with Constante. Phenomenal. But honestly, Jackson Binns, absolute elite footballer, and will be one that we'll talk about. This guy is a pure footballer, and he makes things happen. And one thing in today's AFL, which you see particularly with Carlton's wingers, we spend 88% on the wing, and we do fuck all with it. Jackson Binns, he doesn't do nothing with it. And you know what's interesting? At 182 and 670 kegs, I just want you to think about Carlton's problem positions, high half forward. I could see this guy playing as that small and moving in to that high half forward position like Zach Fisher does. This guy can kick goals. So look out for him. Hugh Davies to Fremantle. I'm a big fan of this pick. I'm a big fan. Now, I think it's a little bit early. Probably, in my opinion, probably 10 picks early. But you know what? Fremantle, they don't mess about. He's that key defender, 196. Do you know what I mean? He's very efficient. He's very good with his football as well. Very good with the intercepts. Needs to put on, probably needs to, I'd say lean mass, because he is 90 kegs, but he needs a bit of lean mass. At the moment, he's that gangly type frame. But a very, very good pickup for them. And do you know what I mean? If they think about it, Hugh Davies is going to be probably one of these players that we talk about, and he's probably going to get, you know, that 30. He's going to get them games towards the end. And he's going to be one of them guys that you just forget about, that they drafted at 33. So I don't mind this pick. Tony McMullen. I really like this. And you know what? Toby McMullen is one of them players that, you know, if you had to put a bet on, this is the most GWS pick you can think of, right? Because he's very, very composed. He's very concise. He's very, very good at what he does. Incredibly hardworking. He kicks on both feet, right? He's not scared of getting dirty. He gets in. He uses his speed. He gets in and out early, plays in that midfield and the forward like every GWS player does. They're all mid-forwards. It's a very, very, very solid one. Very solid one. Now, is it early? Yes. But GWS are like Hawthorn, who are the masters of the draft. They identify targets, they stick with it, and they don't care what the pick is. The pick is really a guideline. The beauty is in the eye of the holder. Absolute good. I'll rate the pick. I'll rate the pick. So let's have a look at some questions. Houghton, we're going to come on to Houghton. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. Do you know what I mean? I like Ollie Houghton, but obviously they've gone with what they've said. Do you know what I mean? Got the said. Mick Ablett said Carlton won the draft. I agree. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Munkara's going as Cat B. Tell you what, he's a very, very elusive player. I like Frio's drafts. I thought they were all right. Hawks could do. I thought Hawks and Sydney had a good draft period, to be honest. They always do, though. Then we come to Ollie Houghton, who we talked about. Probably a surprise he went this late. And St Kilda joining North in things we haven't said for a while that happen. And this kid here is a natural goal kicker. He's a very clever footballer as well. High IQ, like probably one of the more highest IQs in the game here. What I loved about him when I interviewed him is he talks about he doesn't need many touches to score, and that's true. He's very, very prudent. He really suits that system. And for Ross, the boss's side, we know they're not the most offensive side. So he's going to have to do that. But this guy here he's very evasive. Got a bit of Tuck Miller about him. You know, I could see this being like kind of a Tuck Miller because I think he will become a midfielder. I think it's very late for where he is. Very late. Very late. But that being said, obviously there wasn't something that people liked, and it did seem a lot of the interstate clubs passed on him. But this kid here is clean, he's class, he's very mature, he's very professional as well about what he goes about it. I'm a big fan of Ollie Houghton, and I wish him the best. I wish him the best. Tom McCallum went up to Port, and Port, again, just do Port things, don't they? They're a team that don't follow draft boards. And I find it weird, but this guy here, big, tall guy, do you know what I mean? Really, another Tassie boy, 192 and 78. He's that nice little intercepting player. There's a little bit of talent there to work with. He's going to be working with Aaliyah, and he's got real high aerial and athleticism. So he really will learn off Aaliyah, and that makes it exciting for Port. I think that they've got someone who is almost like for like. A lot of people are talking about his kicking, right? But his kicking efficiency is 77%. So I can disregard that. That's not fact, right? Do you know what I mean? That's not fact. That's just someone saying it. But this guy here He's a very, very solid little player. Very intelligent little customer. He's one of the top ages from the beautiful Apple Isle as well. And he really does stand out for Tassie. He really does. You really do notice it. So this guy here, I think he's got something about him. He's got something about him. And Port have got some exceptional people for him to learn off. So look out for Tom. He's going to be one we talk. Hawks here absolutely nailed it. The fact that they've got Hustwaite at 37, right, is mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing, right? Incredibly little versatile player, right? Who I want to talk about his speed. And this is what pisses me off about AFL media. They're obsessed with every midfielder who is big, being quick. Who are the last two Brownlow medalists? Ollie Wines and Cripps, both described as incredibly slow. But both have won Brownlows and are indisposable from their teams. This guy here uses the ball incredibly well, incredibly strong in the contest, incredibly strong and incredibly versatile. Has looked not out of place playing down at halfback, which was a new position for him. He's excelled on the ball. Also goes at high half forward. Big left foot as well. Smart cookie. And honestly, a lovely kid. Enjoyed interviewing him. Let's take some questions. Mitch Cybowski, this was a surprise, Josh, this, mate. I've got to say, it was a surprise. Now, why did no one pick him up? It's going to be one of them things because this guy here really did shone, especially for Dandenong, do you know what I mean? 24 touches, do you know what I mean? And really incredible work rate, which is what AFL recruiters froth nowadays. If you work hard both ways, you get drafted. Surprise. Now, this is going to be one that I think will go to VFL and come back in the mid-season draft. So look out for him, but a great shot. Hey, Mick, you're on fire today, Mike T. Right? Who debuts first? I reckon Hollands will debut first, but look out for Cowan. I reckon he'll be very, 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 very hot on his heels. Very hot on his heels. Jed Adams up next for Melbourne. Melbourne, this was a little bit of a surprise, and a good mate of mine works at Melbourne, and I did text him and go, you kept that one quiet when we played golf the other week. But do you know what I mean? This guy probably around the pick when you think he was probably 45, 50 on my board, but incredibly strong in the air, incredibly strong with his kicking, 196 and 90 kegs. Very good, honest key defender. I think this guy here is going to learn off some good people. Do you know what I mean? He's going to have some good people in training. So I really like Jed. It's not an exciting pick. Do you know what I mean? Josh, Adam the lawyer is a very interesting one. We interviewed him here, right? And this guy here, I can tell you right now, would be a very solid acquisition. Very solid acquisition. Cody, I agree. They've done very well, Hawthorn. Cowan ahead. I think Cowan will be close, mate. Cowan will be close. I do think Ollie will play first, but I do think Lachlan will be the big one. I reckon Holland's, though, is going to hit the ground running. Harvey Gallagher. Now, this kid here, I really like Harvey. And a lot of people have thrown this guy under the bus because he played for Carlton the VFL. And they're like, oh, he had like 3 touches. Absolutely pants. But they played him in the pocket, and he doesn't actually play pocket forward. He roams there. But genuinely, they've played him in that back pocket, down the back. Defensively, he's very strong. Bendigo Pioneers captain as well. And this guy here, he's a very, very smart cookie. He's very good with the ball in his hand, very good low on the ground, and he really looks to make himself available. One thing that was noticeable for Bendigo particularly was when they turned the ball and they got the ball back, how hard he works to get himself available and help his bigger guys. This guy here is a real team player. And the Doggies, you know who this guy reminds me of, and they didn't put this on the screen. He's a Caleb Daniel. Do you remember Caleb Daniel when he was down the back for Doggies before they started moving him? Very similar assets to that. So I really like this kid. Real fast kid and real good kid as well. Caleb Mitchell from Sydney. Sydney again, picking the names that maybe not many people are talking about. But this guy here is a pure winger, pure outside run. And, you know, it's really funny when you talk about these guys, when you talk about Sydney. It's funny because you can't really name a pure winger from there. One doesn't stand out. They all seem to rotate there. This guy here really spreads really well. And he's with his 186, he's got a real good vertical leap, so he really helps in transition. I really like it because he's a big boy. He's a big boy, and we know now that that's becoming in vogue in AFL. And I think some people have missed a trick here because he is a Murray Bushrangers boy, and I would have thought Victorian sides would have gone. But this guy's very clean as well. He uses his ball really well. And honestly, he's got the engine already as well. So Sydney doing Sydney things. One of these late picks that Sydney will take will be an absolute superstar. So big Fremantle went to Sturt and they got Tom Emmett. And we talked about Tom Emmett on this show quite a bit. He's one of these guys, again, that's not thought about. One of the more mature age players. Got late invite and has really shone at state league level, particularly in that forward half of the ground, over a goal a game. And the Sandful is a really, really, really tough league. Really tough league, especially for small players. He's only 186, so he's not the tallest. He's not the smallest. It's that awkward size, which is very easy to defend. If you go and watch Sandful, everyone is that size, right? Everyone is that size. But I'll tell you what, bangs them in. And Fremantle, you can see this guy here, when he's playing with like Croden and players like that, Cowden and stuff like that, he's going to learn. He's going to learn, particularly off Walters and stuff. I think there's something about him. I don't mind this one. I don't mind this one. This is one of them picks where I'm just like, you know what? Well done. Well done. Well done. Bully for them. Max Noble, finally, we had a ruck. I was shocked as well. I forgot we had rucks in this draft. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just totally forget because there wasn't really any of note, was there? But Max Noble here is a giant, 206 and 91 kegs. And this guy here, as ruck craft goes, probably the best ruck crafter. So Harry Barnett, probably the best all-rounder and easily the best ruck in the draft. Max Noble, definitely the best pure ruck. Best pure ruck. Now, he's got to really work on his game to get there. But, you know, he's working with another guy that probably doesn't look like a ruckman in Sean Darcy. All right. And Darcy has killed it. He's killed it. So I really like this one. I really, really like this one. There's something about him. And, you know, he's incredibly wet behind the ears. But with the right coaching, them facets are scary. And we're seeing a lot of AFL clubs take giants. So which says to me that that's either going to be the biggest lunacy or it's a shrewd move. And they've jumped on it. And I think they don't really need a ruck now. So they can lean on him. They've already got Jacko. They've already got Sean, which just makes me think Darcy may leave. Watch this space on him. But Max, he'll learn quickly because he's ruckcraft, he's schmick. Then we got Billy Dowling. Big Billy. Big Billy. So Billy Dowling, we've talked about him on this show. You know, South Australians, I don't think get enough love in the AFL draft. I really don't. So I like to spread the love here, especially around the States, even though I'm a Pom living in Melbourne. Makes me hated by a lot of Australia. But this guy here, I tell you what, he finds the pill very easy. He can play inside and out. Do you know what I mean? Definitely that guy that you'd play third mid. And what I mean by that is not the two that are on the ball, that guy that's playing more on the offensive side. Loves to run in and kick snags. And you know what? Adelaide, they've stayed close to home. And there's a reason why. They know it, and they know that the AFL clubs just don't take the effort. Don't take the effort. It's a big annoyance to me, but Billy Dowling, very good pick, very safe pick. Isaac Keeler, St Kilda, nailing it again. And let's just answer some questions. Why do you think Davey slid? Pretty much no one bid on him, did they? And Josh, this is my biggest pet hate. Because Essendon managed to pick players up towards the end of the draft. Do you know what I mean? Stop them. Stop them. Do you know what I mean? Stop them. So I'm with you, mate. Winners, I would agree. Roos, Carlton and Hawks did very well. How many rookie picks? I think Carlton will just take the one tomorrow. Ed Kerner. It's going to be one of them ones, Mike, that will just work out. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be them ones. It's going to be interesting, mate. But yeah, Isaac Keeler, great pickup by St Kilda. I question, do they need him? Unless they're playing him as a forward, right? And I think he could learn a lot of Tim Membry. Highly athletic, highly versatile. He's added to the ruck craft to his game. They love that ruck combination with playing two ruck forwards in Ryder and Marshall. And one of them's gone now. Ryder's retired. I like this. And Keeler, I don't think he would be far away. He's a very, very clever footballer. I really like Isaac. And you know what? My wife has benefited. If you're a St Kilda are one of the winners of this draft. and they won't be talked about enough at St Kilda, but they've nailed it. Owen Davey, quite a surprise that Owen Davey Jr. went this far. I thought this was bizarre. And I agree with Josh. I thought the Crows were going to pick him up in that Dowling pick. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. They never nominated. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was a mistake. And I thought they're just going to pick him up with that pick. That's why they haven't nominated him. But there it is. But Owen Davey is a very, very, very crafty footballer. And definitely a lot better than 45. A lot better than 45. Ridiculous that he's gone this low. But this guy here is like his dad. He's got very good balance. He's got very low center of gravity and uses that core well. Incredibly versatile in his defense games, especially when he's played forward. He hasn't snagged a lot, but I tell you what, he works really hard in that defense. And he suits Essendon. He's going to learn off Tipper, and I can see a lot of Tipper in this kid. I think working off Tipper is the best thing that's going to happen for his career. So watch this space. I think that's why they brought Tipper back between you and me. I think they did. Jack O'Sullivan, I really like this pick. And this guy has not been talked about. And when I was doing my draft profiles, I think it was just me was the only one that actually had anything on it. So it was really hard to do some research because when there's names out there, you worry if you haven't put a name out there. But this guy here is a very incredible midfielder. Very incredible midfielder who can break up to the forward line. Loves a snag. And, playing for Hawthorn, he's going to nail it. He's going to be learning off one of the best. In my opinion, Sam Mitchell is one of the best of all time. Do you know what I mean? One of the best of all the time. And I love it. And you know what? People are saying, 177 is too small. Please. You think Sam Mitchell doesn't know a mid when he sees one? Going to be very entertaining, this guy, because I think he looks really, really good at juniors, particularly at Chargers. He stood out and some good players at the Chargers. So, well done. Cowan picked up the Lemdog. You know what? I like this name. Now, this one's going to be a weird one because literally I think every tall in this draft seems to have come from West Adelaide. But let's talk about Harry Lemmy. I really like this pick, right? Do you know what I mean? I was surprised Cowan did it. But you know what I like about this guy as well, right, is that he started off forward, right? And then he started to go back as the West Adelaide started to get fit, right? And they started to play him in the key position areas. Now, that is really interesting, I found, because he excelled down the back. He looked really strong because he loves them second and third efforts. He's incredibly strong in the air, and he's got a really, really good kicking technique. Him and Scully, they work extensively with kicking coaches. West Adelaide, he explained that, Scully did. And you see it. He's got real silky action. I think this guy's going to be a swingman. I think he'll start forward, which means that one of Carlton's experiments with swinging players may end. But he's going to learn off some really good players, isn't he? He's going to learn off some good players. He's going to learn off Harry Mackay and Kerno. He's going to learn off Jacob Wheaterin and Lockie Young. 202 and 95 kegs. Lewis Young's really going to teach him a thing or two, isn't he? I really like this pick. It's probably a speculative pick, but I did prefer Scully to this pick. Do you know what I mean? I really did prefer Scully to this pick. I just think because around this pick, I don't like guesses of what he is. And from watching, particularly, so there's a few full games, right, of him playing as a backman. And you see it, and then you also see it in the forward line. So you're kind of like, what are you? So it's going to be interesting what Carlton do with him. But them dimensions are hard to ignore. 202 and 95 kegs at 18 years old, aren't they? Very mobile as well for that, like deceptively mobile. Very similar to Harry Mackay in the way he plays the game. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see how they play together. It's a very good thing. So obviously this time last year, this guy was phenomenal. So I would say, and I agree with you, Diamond and the Rucks, right? Him and Scully were like top 20 last year, right? And they both slid down because of how they performed South Australia and how West Adelaide, they kind of chopped and changed so much. So it was kind of hard to get a read on them. But it's going to be an interesting one, this. I really like it. Do you know what I mean? Going to really like it. James, could be a ruck forward. Could be. I mean, like, obviously, you know, the history of his rucking hasn't been huge, which is a problem. I think there's a great argument for him being a defender. I think there's a great argument for him being a forward. And like Luke says, we're in a position to develop. We don't need this guy to play today. So that's good. So I'm really interested in what Carlton do with this one, because I think there is something there. I think him and Scully, you're really splitting peas, really. It's just I preferred by the eye Tom Scully, but I'm not upset. Do you know what I mean? I'm very excited because West Adelaide, they look after their kids. Mike, that's brilliant. Let me go here. So it's going to be very interesting project. Do you know what I mean? I agree, Manny. I was surprised you didn't take a key forward, to be honest. I was surprised, but you did take Joe Richards, and I really like this pick. So I was on Swoop Luke's show. A lot of people were saying this guy was going to go early. I did have him around pick 50, and thankfully, Collingwood did me a favour and didn't make me look stupid. But this kid here, 22 years old, he's absolutely taking the piss. Usain Bolt speed, probably going to play that Jamie Elliott role. I don't think he'll play midfield for you guys. 29 goals in 11 games, some of them coming from midfield as well. I like this. I like this pick. I think this is a no-brainer at this pick. This is a guy that would have gone mid-draft, pick 1, right? So Collingwood, look at it that way. You've got in early. Really like it. Very silky, very quick. Something about him. There's something about him. And AFL hates giving second chances. So the fact Collingwood have taken a 22-year-old, I like that. I commend that. And I think, that'll be paid back. And I'm not going to argue with Fly. Fly's surpassed all expectations, hasn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, if anyone doubts him now, we're mental. Richmond, tell you what, this was a nice one, this. Taking, a 181 little half defender, small defender. He's aggressive, takes the game on. He suits Richmond down to the T. Richmond go. This guy goes. WA players genuinely, this is a genualization, but generally do appear to be more mature in the AFL very quickly. And he's going to be learning off some of the best. Do you know what I mean? The fact that you can pair him with Short is very exciting. Jaden Short and Caleb Smith have got very similar attributes. So I think that's a very, very exciting. And I think he really did dominate as well. Did dominate at Colts, particularly 22 touches coming off that halfback line and causing all sorts of havoc. This is one of my favourite picks in the draft, this. And I don't know if it's because of the surname, because I'm English. Could be. I mean, but this guy here, GMV Rebels, he's a very, very strong fan. And a few GMV Rebels players that I've interviewed have always talked about Hugh Bond. Adelaide get him. And I see a little bit of Rory Sloan in this kid. A little bit of Rory Sloan. Really bit of Rory Sloan. So very strong, very work ethic based. First, second, and third efforts. Loves his contested work. Loves getting it out as well and giving it to skillful footballers. And they've got a few of them that'll be around him. I really do like this pick. At that pick now, you're in pick territory where if you fuck it up, don't you? Bailey McDonald, this one here, I had a wry grin. I agree, James, as well. He loves a tackle. Very strong physical player. I'm a big fan. This one here, I really enjoyed this pick. I had a little wry grin because this is like one of them picks, where I love watching Collingwood. I love watching Hawthorn draft. No mistake. I do really enjoy it. And this guy's like that hybrid player that can play really high up the ground. And, when I watched this guy earlier for Sandy, I got impressions of, I remember going to see Isaac Quaynor in the rain, and it was absolutely lashing it down when he was drafted. And he sold me because I was like, how was he doing that? Because he was so clean in the wet and everyone was messing around, couldn't pick the ball up. And Bailey's got that about him. He's incredibly quick and he takes the game on and he's very direct. And I look at Hawthorn and there's another player that used to be a forward that was converted to a backman in Blake Hardwick, who's now in their leadership group, their captain. And it always makes me smile because at this time he was very similar. He didn't find much of the ball. And then you look at Blake Hardwick and how he's developed his game. Hawthorn have a model. And I think that this guy here is going to really learn a lot from some great players there. And I really like what he does. He's a real offensive threat. And I love my offensive threats. This is one of the most underrated players in the draft. Phoenix Foster, who's got a great name, was mentioned by a few of the draftees on this show. So I always think that's exciting when they mention him. And ruck forward, 197, Norwood boy, so he's tough. He's tough and really, really strong aerially. And I had a little bit of a smile when they took him, because I was just like, You can see this is that pick. You know, Geelong every year, don't they? They take a player very late, like you're like, who? And they turn it in. I reckon this could be one that we worry about in like, you know, in about 3 or 4 years. He's going to be worried. But this guy here, very strong, needs to definitely work on the ruck craft if he's going to go there. But he's going to be learning off Jeremy Cameron. He's going to be learning off Tom Hawkins. There is some good rucks there as well at Geelong. It needs to be said. Do you know what I mean? Stanley's no slouch. And do you know what I mean? I don't mind this. And yeah, I agree. He's got to be an improvement on Ratacalea. I think he's got to put some pressure on him. So I like this pick. And Geelong developed talent. It has to be said. Has to be said. My boy, Thomas Scully. I had the wonderful pleasure of sending him a message and we had a bit of a chat back and forth. So proud that he's gone. Just want to get my dad moment out. So proud that he's gone to a club that he loves, first of all, and I'm so glad he's picked up. I think the most underrated player in the draft, one of the most underrated players. I don't know why he slipped. I can't see what they're talking about. But for me, this kid has got a very high ceiling. And he's hungry to learn. Natural goal kicker. His idol is Dixon. He's about to be training with him every day. What a player. What a player. This guy stands out. And honestly, best kicking action in the draft. Best kicking action in the draft. Thank you very much, mate. Luke, mate, thank you very much. Blues are finally able to develop kids and instant success is upon wet dream. Mate, spot on. Thank you very much for your donation. Mate, you are a god amongst men. But Tom Scully, Port fans, get around him. I don't know if I've got any Port fans here. I might do. Some of you watch. Then we've got Jayden Davey. They became the first brothers and twins to be drafted the same year to the same club. Very speculative pick. A bit of a different type of player to his brother, where his brother's like a mid-forward. Jayden Davey is that pure small forward. Very exciting what these guys do. Didn't play this year because of an ACL. It's going to be interesting, this, because his second ACL. But some really good young players. Really good mature players there. I'll be interested how he also works with Tipper and also having his brother there. So watch this space with him, but I don't mind that pick. I like it. I really liked Richmond's pick here. And Richmond have this habit. They are like the Golden State Warriors of picking players, aren't they? They just seem to have these rubbish picks and they just do it. One of the more agile players you'll see in the draft. Do you know what I mean? He's very, very good in the contested work. I want to say, Cody, it'd be an important one, this as well, because I would agree. I think because he's had that, like we just talked about, that he's had 2 ACLs, that puts clubs off. And I come from a round ball background where ACLs at a young age don't really concern soccer recruiters. It's when they get older it worries them. So I wonder if that put them off like Brayden George. But it's going to be a watch this space, isn't it? Steely, though, honestly, tough tackling. He really suits the mantra. You know, I get a lot of Dion Prestia with this guy because he ain't class. He ain't pretty to look at. Tell you what, he just gets stuck in 180 kegs and 180, 75 kegs. This guy here, working with Dion, working with Dimmer. I don't mind it, you know. He's tough. Tackle machine, do you know what I mean? He loves it. And he uses the ball really short and sharp, which really suits Richmond's game plan. I'm going to be really intrigued about this one. Really intrigued. I'm looking forward to seeing this one develop. Cooper Harvey, I really like this pick. And this is a pick that I think is ridiculous here. And this is why you've got to start talking about these guys if they've nailed the draft. Ben Cunnington's great call, James, mate. I love that call. Spot on, my friend. Michael, best name in it. Best name, Steely Green. Cooper Harvey, obviously the son of Brent, 400 gamer, man. Like, what a legend. And he's 180, 82 kegs. Does he play like his dad? Kinda. You see, there's that determination, there's that fight in him. And it's going to be really exciting to see. He's really, really, really brutal type player. Real attacks the contest hard when he has played midfield, Playing at that high half forward, though, he links up so well. He's got a good awareness. He can turn. He scored some wonderful goals at the back end in the Vic Country games as well, which was really important. Thank you very much. Will Hollands play round 1? Amon Mac 2. I think he will play round 1. I think he will surprise people. I think he will have a stellar pre-season. But Cooper Harvey, I'm surprised no one bid on him, to be honest. Bit of niceness there going in, but this is good. I absolutely love that Corey Wagner is back in the AFL. We talked about Corey Wagner at length on this show. He was one of our surprise packets of someone that may come up. Has really excelled at Port Melbourne and has been in their leadership group and has found the ball at ease. His ability to break lines. I think his AFL experience is incredibly understated. And his VFL. Is it a surprise he's got a second chance? Maybe. But I tell you what, his season this year was stellar. And he's coming up 1997. So what's that? 25, 26 next year. A little bit older. I think that's a bargain, though. Like, at this pick, that's a bargain. That is a very good pick by them. And we've hit the ton for a first time on a watch along. So thank you very much, you guys and girls. This one here, I was very surprised. Noah Lang. He's a guy that I've been watching for a while. We talked about him on this show. We did his draft profile. We were very shocked that there wasn't much talked about him. We knew he was going to go late, but this guy here, I think he's more of a forward than a mid. He is one of them mid forwards. I think he can be that real pain in the arse, in them stoppage clearances. And he's very, very quick thinker and a quick user. So watch this space because he's going to be learning off some greats at West Coast Eagles. And we finished the draft with Kyle Marshall. No surprise here. They do their thing, don't they, Port Adelaide? They identify targets and they stay local and they're very clever. Big key defender, 198. Really, really, really one of them rangy key defenders as well. Very, very, very quick to get high and get the ball moving. He's not stupid. He's very quick. He likes to use the ball. I can see him also playing that third as well as that taller one because Melbourne have set the benchmark. Petty invariably is that third tall, even though he's like 290. He's like the size of a house. So I like this pick. So it's going to be an interesting one, but good draft. All in all, I think the winners for this draft for me are Hawthorn, North, Carlton, and St Kilda. Absolutely boxed it. I really enjoyed that. But there's not really anyone who had a real terrible draft period, to be honest. There's a lot of speculatives. Moncara, not picked up. Will he get picked up tomorrow? There's rumours that they are going to rookie him. So that's going to be interesting. So keep a lookout because there is some players there like Adam Deloyer. Like, if you've got a spot, rookie the kid. Tell you, please, rookie Adam Deloyer. Any list managers watching, rookie him. Such a good kid. Such a good kid. I'll be disgusted if you don't. $7.99 here from Mike T. Now for the Blues, it'll be all about fitness and growth, mate. Spot on. So I've really enjoyed this year. We'll be doing some more videos. I'll let you in a surprise. We're going to get some content creators from other clubs to come and review their things. So the interviews will continue. I've really enjoyed doing the interviews. So I'm going to be asking around and getting them to do some draft reviews and some trade reviews and tell us about their season. I'm even going to get a special guest for Carlton. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do my own, but I'll bring someone in and we'll be mean to them a little bit. But thank you so much for the love and support. Honestly, you guys and girls, this has been the best year of my life. It sounds quite sad, but we're at the end of November now. Honestly, when I first started, I didn't think I'd even get 100 subs. The fact we're at 3K turns me on. We'll definitely do some super coach stuff, James, because a lot of my mates are legends at this. So I will get them in. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, you're all like a family to me. You make my day. And honestly, I've had a tough year since COVID, and you'll never know how much you have raised me up when I've been low. So thank you. God bless. Luke, nailed every Blues pick, King. Thank you very much, mate. I try my best. Much love, everyone. Make sure you check out Manscaped. I use them. My wife likes me a little bit more because of it. So get involved in that. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll have some content coming your way in the next couple of days. Much love. Pom out. Make sure you like and subscribe as well.